a manufacturer of red pill men, she'd be in the top.
If I had to sum up today's entire video in a single word, it would be train wreck. I can almost promise you've never heard of this story unless you are on TikTok, because people over there have been less than impressed with the members of the Under the Influence podcast, which is a group of friends and influencers that I can really only describe as a train wreck. I mean, the story has got everything: crappy apology videos, one-sided beef, and, as always, a whole bunch of people who are rightfully pissed off at everybody involved. And that's why I'm actually kind of surprised that the story has not made it outside of TikTok, despite being a recipe for disaster. So today I'm going to tell you what happened, who said it, why anybody cares, and then together we can work on trying to forget all of this as soon as possible. But first, welcome. My name is D'Angelo, and I am your professor of abnormal prefixes, which is a very real degree that I definitely do have. Or maybe this is just me broadcasting myself talking in my room like YouTube used to be. And in today's lecture, I suppose I should start by addressing the elephant in the room. It's Halloween, or at least it should be when I'm uploading this, fingers crossed. And this is my costume. Yes, it's somewhat obscure, somewhat iconic. Some of you may have gotten it right away, but if not, I'll show you. It's me! Yay! I decided to dress up as myself from a year ago. Long before my fake professor days, I had another era, and so this was my daily uniform for that. And so I thought this costume would be sort of a fun, campy throwback. Also, I feel like I've come a really long way. I cannot believe it hasn't even been 3 months since I started daily videos. In a weird way, I feel like I've been doing them for a very, very long time, but I guess it just feels like a lot since this is my 78th video in a row. And for some guy on the internet with no real schedule, I feel like I've low-key been killing it. This is the sort of stability I craved in my early 20s. But what do we get instead? Severe mental illness, which I still have. Anyways, let's talk about this podcast. Seriously, this is so funny. If you Google Under the Influence podcast right now and you just look at the results, literally one of them is about part of this situation, and this isn't even the full story. When I saw this MSN result a week ago, I was like, oh, someone else picked it up, and then I realized it was just a repost of the one article. But this is the Under the Influence show. 780,000 followers on TikTok, often pulling hundreds of thousands of views per podcast clip, and they're here on YouTube as well, which is where their ill-fated apology video was posted just a few days ago. A discussion of the past 2 weeks. Yeah, we're gonna have our own discussion of the past 2 weeks, and it's gonna be a little longer than 7 minutes. So the number one comment I saw as I was researching this controversy is, who are these people? But from what I can tell, it's a group of friends, and they just sit around, have some drinks, and talk about relationship stuff. And I guess relationship stuff is how the topic turned to Drew Afualo. So Drew also runs a podcast, I guess kind of similar to the Under the Influence podcast, except no alcohol or racism. She doesn't have the racism either, but Under the Influence has that part covered. So this all starts when they try to hit Drew with the dumbest critique I've ever heard in my entire life.
This guy made a video how he's talking about Drew Afualo, how she's literally getting married. And she's like, she's preventing you from getting married.
While she's getting married.
Yeah, she's telling you to hate all men.
Yep.
When she's marrying a man.
Yep.
There's a lot to unpack here. So, I mean, maybe we can start with the insane butchering of the pronunciation of her name. If you're gonna lie about someone on the internet to your audience, you should probably at least try to say their name correctly. Butchering people's names often feels so racially motivated to me. Like, I'm sorry. If you are in the comments and you know what I'm talking about, please back me up so I don't just sound like some insane person ranting because my name is kind of hard to spell for some people. The way that some people have misspelled my name in real life, almost to make a point about how they think it's a ridiculous name.
Drew Afualo.
Afualo is giving that energy. Like, if Benedict Cumberbatch is somehow within the realm of possibility for you to pronounce, you can most certainly Google Afualo before you bring her up to slander her. Signed, the guy who has to look up everyone's name multiple times when he's making a video, because I can't. If I can do it, you can do it. Anyway, that's the superficial issue. Let's get into the actual problem here. So this guy is accusing Drew of hating men and telling her followers to hate men. TikToker Drew Afualo is calling out misogynists one video at a time. Time magazine. People. Influencer Drew Afualo reveals knee-jerk clapback she uses against misogynists online. I laugh every time. Wired. Drew Afualo will never stop making fun of misogynist men. Yeah, this lady pisses people off. They absolutely despise her. But the only people I have ever seen evidence of her criticizing, making fun of, or laughing at are misogynists. And so it kind of makes you wonder what kind of person would be mad at her existence. As a man, I could care less if Drew Follow is laughing at men on the internet. She ain't talking about me. Unless she is, in which case, I probably have some work to do. But this is just such a typical response. Guys do this so often where they will take criticisms of misogyny and they'll be like, why do you hate men? Not realizing the misogyny has infiltrated them to the point where they actually see it as part of their identity that is being attacked. So we've got the mispronunciation of the name. We've got misrepresenting Drew out of discomfort for probably feeling called out by her. And then his main critique is probably the most ridiculous. How dare she marry a man while telling her followers that misogyny is bad? This is quite possibly the most unhinged reason to be mad at somebody in existence. And the implication makes my head spin. Like, sorry news for anyone in my comments who's in a relationship with a man. If you've ever criticized a man at any point, you have to dump your husband or boyfriend immediately. I don't make the rules. And I guess these guys think they do.
Whatever the red pill version of a man is, she is the red pill version of a female.
To sit there and say that with your whole chest is absurd. There is no red pill equivalent for women. Can I just point that out? I'm not even trying to be woke here. I'm just being obvious. Society would never allow that to happen. This whole idea of the red pill and the way women are treated like objects is based on the patriarchy. We would really have to rewrite society before we could ever get to the point where there's a red pill for women. But you know what? Let's say there was. It's not gonna be Drew with her podcast, literally just minding her own business and also minding the business of these weird dudes that she's always calling out. Like, this does not equal that.
Like, if there was a manufacturer of red pill men, she'd be in the top 5.
Yeah.
Like, that's what I feel like people don't realize is, like, and it goes for both ends. I feel like fem cells get created from, like, fresh and fit.
To Drew's list of sins, which include dating a man and calling out misogyny, we can now add being the top 5 manufacturer of misogyny. I swear to God that, like, red pill podcasts and everybody who runs them are in a different timeline. Like, this is a form of being terminally online. It's funny, I don't usually see that term applied to people like this. People will call you terminally online for having pronouns, having internet-based interests, knowing anything about a celebrity ever. But this is actually the level of chronic onlineness that results in utter brain rot. You have to be in a complete echo chamber if you are seriously listening to these podcasts and thinking, wow, these guys are making so much sense. These guys are so stupid. Also, fun fact, this isn't even the main controversy that people are mad at them for. This is like the pre-controversy.
Stop getting your relationship advice from, I guess that's us. Stop getting your relationship advice from people online.
Do you see that brief glimmer of self-awareness that just instantly evaporated? If only people didn't get their relationship advice from people online, we wouldn't have this podcast epidemic. Anyway, this is a repost because they deleted their original video. And I'm sorry, the comments are so funny. I know who Drew Follow is, but who are these people? To be so irrelevant that this is the top comment is incredible. Anyway, you have married women chiming in to say Drew has never said not to get married. They obviously do not watch her videos. People who say this clearly haven't watched her. And this is actually the most poignant comment. They just kept going. This is the thread that's going to tie this entire thing together. The Under the Influence podcast has no sense of when to stop, no boundaries. They just enable each other to say the dumbest takes known to man and women, actually, because the ladies on this podcast are about to make equally stupid statements. Anyway, Drew's response was incredible. She just wore an amazing dress and laughed at them. Me, literally every single time I found out awful men are talking about me online. Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't see your podcast that gets no views. My bad.
The funniest part about that clip is what they're saying I said. She tells women to hate all men and never get married. I have never said that.
And thus, Drew proceeded to drag them, just like all the other weirdos she's been doing her entire career. I really am fascinated with this idea of, like, genuinely being more upset with Drew than the people she's talking about. That level of cognitive dissonance needs to be studied, in my opinion. But anyway, because that Drew Follow situation happened and there were so many eyes on these people started listening to some of the other things they were saying on their podcast, and dear God, there are levels to this, clearly. Just a quick forewarning, the only thing that matches the level of racism in this clip is how vulgar and gross it is.
Yeah, I'm gonna say something kind of wild, but it's because I saw it somewhere. I don't know if we might have to cut it out, but anyways, someone said that the reason why some girls is tighter than others, they said that it's because, like, ethnicity-wise, like black men have, you know, are known to have larger, so therefore the women have
makes sense.
Bigger holes.
This story literally always goes the same way. A bunch of people sit in a room bring up black women unprompted and then say some crazy whacked out stuff about them, and then it goes completely unchecked until it comes up later. This commenter said they love black women. They wake up with us on their mind. Leave us alone. Sad and ignorant. Just say you're intimidated by and obsessed with black women. I'm literally exhausted by this discourse, and I am just talking about it. Oh, but thankfully this person who is not black says, yeah, people blew this out of proportion. It's like saying black people suffer from high cholesterol due to ethnicity, which is true, or Hispanics and diabetes. Lol.
I'm really not even gonna unpack that.
I'm not even gonna unpack that. Also, this was obviously rage bait. Like, this is so obviously rage bait. Oh, I don't know. I heard this somewhere. Where did you hear that? Your head doesn't count. Answer quickly. This is the part where I would usually just like highlight voices from the community who are affected by these statements. But my brother in Christ, anybody with a working brain could point out why this is wrong. And yet, I decided to check what people were saying anyway. And as always, they had additional points which I wasn't even thinking about.
I'm pursuing further in the medical field because of people like that, where you think it's not that serious and that they're just keying. No, there's actual medical professionals that think this.
I'm just sitting over here thinking of it from the perspective of like, wow, these guys are insane and this is annoying. But you've got people out here getting reminded of like racist stereotypes and how they've affected their medical care. Had a dermatologist tell me only light-skinned people need to worry about sunburn. Dear God. That's what makes these stories so annoying. It's like they are always drawing on things that are actual problems, but then they're reducing it to these stupid sound bites. And so when you call it out, it sounds like you're doing too much. Oh, they weren't talking about the medical field. You're doing too much. They just mispronounced Drew's name. It's just a name. You're doing too much. Are testing my patience. You're testing my patience. My mom used to say that to me all the time. Every year that passes, I understand my mother more. So anyway, back to the topic at hand. The members of the Under the Influence podcast let this set for literal weeks for some reason. I don't know why they thought it was a good idea to just allow people to drag them on TikTok left, right, up, down, front, center. One could say, oh, you know, putting some time into your apology and really attempting to parse what people are saying so you understand why you're wrong. That's more meaningful than just immediately responding. But no, fun fact, these guys clearly did absolutely no self-reflection whatsoever, because holy moly, this apology video is pain. The video has gotten ratioed by its own comment section already, but you know what? Let's hear them out.
So we wanted to take some time, of course, to really digest everything that was being said.
Narrator. But they did not, in fact, properly digest what was said.
I specifically want to address a young woman. She made this TikTok about her domestic abuse experience in Korea, and I commented on it.
So you may have noticed I didn't even talk about that. I actually just zoned in on the biggest thing that they were catching flack for, because I have to be honest, the idea of going back and picking out every single offensive thing that these people have done, I just don't feel like sorting through all of that. But I mean, using your imagination, it's not hard to guess how people sitting around being misogynist would then also lead to podcast members leaving victim blaming comments on other people's TikToks.
The fact is that people are harmed by it. Like, I truly am sorry. Like, when I watch back at how many people were offended.
So honestly, the apology was starting off kind of mid, but never forget, they just keep going.
It's very hard to make a statement right away on something when there's a lot of noise and also obviously a lot of other things being brought up from the past. So obviously Esther was going through something like that.
This is the second time he's referred to the valid criticism they were getting as a lot of noise. But let's see what Esther has to say about her comments about, God, she looks so angry. How dare you make me address this?
I want to take this moment to sincerely apologize for a topic that I brought up. It wasn't my view or opinion, but I understand that even bringing it up was super inappropriate and harmful.
Terrible apology. 0 out of 10. I didn't really say anything. I was just saying what someone else said, but sorry, I guess. First of all, my opinion hasn't changed. I don't believe you heard that anywhere. I really don't. But secondly, even if you did, leading with that, not the move.
And I've heard so many of you guys, especially in the black community and among black women. Like, I'm just sorry for perpetuating a harmful stereotype. Moving forward, I will no longer bring up any topics that could be harmful to anybody.
Okay, guys, well, she said sorry. I'm sure she feels real bad about it, just like the 7-11 million people who prove you can say anything on the podcast and then get away with it as long as you say sorry later. But anyways.
I mean, we're all Asian and we've dealt with like pretty hateful like stereotypes as well, and I should have known better because I've been hurt by those too, you know?
Well, she brought it up, so let's talk about it. They are all Asian. But honestly, for me, that didn't really complicate the story much, because only black people are affected by anti-blackness. Anybody can join in, perpetuate it, and then experience no real repercussions.
So I truly apologize for that. Like, it wasn't my intention to hurt anyone, but I understand that intentions don't matter when the impact was so hurtful.
The average apology video is starting to sound like a checklist. I'm really sorry, even though it wasn't really my intention to harm anybody, but also my intentions don't matter because people were offended. So obviously I did something wrong. So I would really like to apologize to that community of people who I did something wrong to, because I was really centering their voices and like listening to their feedback. Like, real talk, I think I'm getting kind of tired of people saying, oh, my intentions don't matter. It was very groundbreaking. The first time I heard it in an apology, I actually wanted to clap. Yes, an acknowledgement of impact versus intent. I feel like that used to be a thing that you only caught on to if you actually understood it. But now that language has been co-opted by any random person on the internet because we've all heard it so many times that even people who don't actually believe this will still say it. I'm not saying that she's not sorry. I'm just wondering what my reaction is supposed to be upon hearing this for the 57,000th time.
What we can do is try to make the changes going forward. If you want to hate us regardless, that's
Can you write some quick talking points for an apology that is inclusive, accountable, and most importantly, no excuses? Yeah, we've got ChatGPT bingo over here. They acknowledge the negative impact. No excuses, right? Their intentions don't matter. They are all genuinely sorry. We've got the genuine regret. We've got the steps for change. I'm no longer going to bring up things that are offensive or whatever. And then I think him saying you're welcome to still hate us if you want just now is inviting dialogue and listening.
the people who support us have been waiting for us to own up and take accountability for maybe some of the things that have hurt them as well. And that's what we're going to do our best to do.
Groundbreaking. Truly.
Yeah, I appreciate anybody that was willing to have a conversation and hear both sides.
Both sides of what? He's not in this frame, so I can only react to his hand. Both sides of what, you weird hand?
One thing I want to address that I'm not cool with whatsoever is the amount of death threats and violent threats that have been sent to Esther in this process. Like, it's just not okay.
Okay, so I'm trying to figure out how to word this so that it doesn't come across callously. As someone who has received death threats, can I just throw that out there? I find that so many people bring them up at very convenient times. You know what I mean? Like in this case right here, you have 2 weeks to address these death threats that you're getting, but you needed to tack it to the end of the apology just so you still have that emotional impact and something to feel bad for you guys over. I really hope this doesn't come across as me like excusing death threats. They're spooky, they're illegal, I'm sympathetic towards them, but I find it inappropriate to be asked to care about that right now. Does that make sense? Let me know if you're picking up what I'm laying down here.
I think that's a good point right there, because I've definitely noticed Esther gets the most hate out of this situation. 100% that is not fair at all. Esther, I'm sorry, because you're on a podcast with 3 dudes and
Not him offering the most genuine apology to his podcast co-host. I know y'all are not sitting here having more sympathy for each other and just, oh, she was waiting for it this whole podcast. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm sitting here trying to perform like a whacked out body language analysis. I'm just using my eyes to read the expression on her face. This smirk is honestly wild to me, bro. It's wild to me. She's sitting here like, period. Eat the haters up, boo. It's a wrap. Get out of here. Y'all are so corny.
I know it can get hard to jump in or hard to say anything, and the fact that you're getting hate over that is it upsets all of us, obviously, but yeah.
Y'all got me dead. Y'all got me dead. This was the real point of the video, wasn't it? Forget an apology. Y'all are so mad that you got called out. Y'all are never going to convince me these people are actually sorry. I'm so sorry. Y'all are not going to convince me of this.
When dudes get into a flow of things, they start to, like, you know, just ramble on.
I want to frame the way this video makes me feel. This is such an elevated experience for me. Actually, this is very transformative.
I think we can all be better at that, to be honest. Though.
Yeah, don't think we didn't know you over there complicit in all of this. We weren't finna let you slide.
Thank you to everyone who has been waiting for us to speak up on this and who has been holding us accountable, especially in a respectful manner.
Oh, guys, do we have to be respectful? It's 2024. I don't know. I feel like Drew is kind of inspiring me. Can I distract them a little bit? Can I be a little bit uncivil for once? Mister, I tattooed an earring behind my earring. You know what? I am gonna say it. I think you have to go out of your way to look as dumb as you sound when you were working with this few brain cells. But y'all put in the effort. Congratulations. Out here looking like Second Life mods. What do you mean? Anyway, that wasn't nice. But it did make me feel better, so I don't regret it at all. Also, your podcast abbreviates to UTI. Like, seriously, find God. But that's my take on the situation. Dave's take is that he's actually an anti-podcast authoritarian, and he supports the forcible removal of any men with microphones, which that would be a bit problematic, but I understand. And I'm of course excited to hear your take. I mean, this is the part of the video where a layman would ask you to subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment, but I will ask you to enroll, evaluate the video, and submit your feedback. Because I'm of course running a 100% completely, totally, all the way, okay, maybe not really, somewhat unaccredited university. Probably. Just ask anybody in the student body and they'll confirm it for you. We're totally legit. And as for me, whether you see me in 24 hours or 24 months is honestly anyone's guess, but until then, thanks for watching. Your homework for today is to not start a podcast. Do not do it.